Hello, everybody. John Svitak with the Shannon Law Group. We have some breaking news for you, some more good news from the Secretary of Health and Human Services. They have now proposed a new rule that will have the effect of actually withdrawing their earlier proposed rule to remove SIRVA from the vaccine injury table. So if you've been following along with this saga for the last year, you know that last year, Secretary of Health and Human Services proposed a rule to remove SIRVA that was scheduled to become effective on February 22nd of this year. However, when the new administration came in, the new acting Secretary of Health and Human Services proposed a rule to delay that removal until April 23rd of this year. And now what we're hearing is that on Wednesday, a new rule is going to be proposed to just withdraw the original rule altogether. So obviously, this is a excellent result for not only our clients, but also anybody that in the future will have the unfortunate experience of suffering one of these injuries. If you've been following along with me, you know that from the start, I've been very much opposed to this SIRVA removal issue. I think that SIRVA injuries belong in the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. There's really no other venue I think that they're appropriate for it. They are, by definition, an injury associated with a vaccine. If petitioners were instead required to bring suit against vaccine administrators, pharmacists, their nurses, not only do I think that's a very difficult case to prove, negligence against one of those providers, but I also think that it would have a negative impact on the availability of vaccines, because I just think that this is one of the things that the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program was created to prevent, and that was to prevent providers or manufacturers or administrators from withholding vaccines or being, too afraid to administer a vaccine for fear of a lawsuit. So this ensures that those administrators are able to give out vaccines, encourage vaccines without the fear of a medical negligence case, because petitioners have this compensation available to them. As you know, we have been following the COVID-19 vaccine as well, and whether or not it's going to become part of this vaccine injury compensation program. There's actually an aspect of this SIRVA removal issue that's important on that front. So there's a section on the vaccine injury table with regard to new vaccines that are covered. And I'm going to show you actually what the table looks like, and we will look at this particular section together. So here's the vaccine injury table. You've heard me reference it probably in every video you've ever seen, and you've heard me, if you've had the pleasure of speaking with me over the phone, talk about how important it is to the program. So I'm going to move all the way down to the end of this table to the last section. Here it says, any new vaccine recommended by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention for routine administration to children after publication by the Secretary of a notice of coverage. New vaccines, when they get added to the vaccine injury table, a certain process must occur. So first, it has to be recommended by the CDC for routine administration in children and pregnant women. Second, there has to be a publication by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, a notice that it's going to be covered by the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. And then finally, the last thing that has to happen, and this is further explained down here at the end of the qualifications and aids to interpretation section. Other new vaccines will be included in the table as of the effective date of a tax enacted to provide funds for compensation paid with respect to such vaccines. So you've heard us talk about this tax before. It's how the fund is created, it's how the fund is kept alive. So as soon as an amendment is published in the Federal Register, it will include a date by which the tax is going to become effective for the new vaccine. And as soon as the tax is implemented, that vaccine will be officially added to the table. And why that's important when it comes to SIRVA is, we'll go back up to the section here. As you can see, any new vaccines that go through that process automatically are associated with SIRVA and fainting. So as soon as a new vaccine, such as COVID-19, for example, is added to the table. Anybody that experiences SIRVA for that injury with that vaccine has the possibility of alleging a table case, assuming everything else, all the other criteria is met. That's a very important part of this removal issue that was in jeopardy and is no longer in jeopardy. So very, very happy about that, given the state of the world, given the fact that we have all these new vaccines that are being administered now, and in the future, we're not exactly sure what the COVID-19 vaccine will look like, but as I've said before, fairly confident that at some point it will be added to the table, and if and when it does, of course, we will bring you that update and bring you that news. Thanks for tuning in on this update. I know it's been a lot of news, a lot of back and forth on this SIRVA issue, so I appreciate you guys sticking with us. There's going to be more news to come in the next coming days, and obviously with this COVID-19 vaccine and any future or pending revisions to the table, we'll obviously keep you informed there too. If you want to stay informed, a good way to do that would be to like and subscribe this video so that you have access to our old content, our new content, any other news that might be coming down the pike. I'll also include a few links for you in the description here. One will be to the table that we looked at. I'll also include some news about this SIRVA removal issue and the fact that it is now being withdrawn. So I encourage you to check those links out.